Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Debate Kate Sports Podcast. We're bringing you some 2020-2021 NBA predictions, and man, am I excited to have the NBA back. It's been a few months, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be just as competitive as it was last year. So I'm super excited. I think the Bulls could be pretty good as well. So we'll hear more on that later. So Josh and I are going to be doing today for the NBA is we're going to be ranking the teams in each conference, 1 through 15 in the East and 1 through 15 in the West. We're also going to be looking at kind of like an NBA playoff picture. So we're going to pick like who's going to be in the conference finals for each division, who's going to win. We'll explain it, and we'll talk about our NBA finals predictions as well. Finally, we're going to be going over like some NBA awards. So our MVP, Sixth Man of the Year, DPOY, Most Improved Player, Coach of the Year, and Rookie of the Year. We're also going to be doing All NBA First Team, just the first team, the All Rookie First Team, and the All NBA Defensive First Team. So it should be a great episode, and I hope you guys enjoy. So to start off, we're going to be doing our conference standings, starting with the Eastern Conference. So for me, who I think is going to come out on top in the East, the Milwaukee Bucks, for the third straight year. I just don't think anybody's really going to stop Giannis. You know, the Bucks, they've had terrific regular seasons for the past 2 years now. And so they've made some moves to add on to Giannis. They got their guy locked up for a few years, assuming that he doesn't request a trade. So once again, I think the Bucks are going to remain supreme. At number 2, I'm actually going to have the Celtics because they're young and they're only going to get better.
Hold up. Aren't we going to conversate or no?
Do you want it, or am I going to ask for your number 1?
I thought we were going to conversate. Like we were going to talk to each other.
Okay, I thought you were going to like react to mine and then give yours.
No, I thought we should go team by team. So like you give your first, I give my first seed, and then we talk about it, right? And then like why we think each team, and then we move on to the second seed. But if you don't want to do it that way, that's cool. I mean, it's your
Okay, yeah. The reason I don't like doing it that way is just because then we're like jumping around from team to team. So it's like if I had the Bucks 1, you had the Bucks at 4, you had like the Heat at number 1. So I'd be talking about the Bucks, you'd be talking about the Heat. And then when it comes down to like number 4, you'd be talking about the Bucks again, and I'd be talking about the Heat again later. So I feel like we'd be jumping around from team to team.
Cool. All right, go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. All right, 3, 2, 1. At number 2, I'm actually going to have the Celtics. Why? Because they're young and they're only going to get better. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, I think they're both like under 24, I believe. So they're just going to take bigger steps, I believe. The addition of Tristan Thompson. Josh brought this to my attention, so I'll give him his credit. Right, Josh?
Oh, yeah.
I think that could help them, especially since they've been lacking like a defensive big man. And Kemba Walker is going to be hurt for a little bit, but he will be coming back. So, yeah, Celtics at 2. Number 3, we're going to have the Nets. In preseason, Kevin Durant has looked just as good as he once was. Hopefully, I'm praying, as Kevin Durant is my favorite player, that he does not get hurt again. But it also seems like Kevin Durant and Kyrie seem to have some pretty good chemistry. So I think they'll make it pretty easy for new head coach Steve Nash. Number 4, the 76ers. Daryl Morey's come in, and he's done an amazing job so far, getting rid of Horford, bringing in Danny Green, and who was the other guy? I don't remember who the other guy was.
Seth Curry.
Was it Seth Curry?
Yeah, they have Seth Curry on their team now.
As well as drafting Tyrese Maxey. That's what I was thinking of. So I think the 76ers will be good this year, assuming that as of right now, there was no trade with Harden, so we're just going off of what we think. Right now, Harden's on the Rockets in this situation. So, yeah, 76ers at 4. Number 5, you're going to have the Heat. And so a lot of people are thinking, oh, the Heat, they were in the finals last year. How can you have them at 5? I don't know. I just think there are better teams out there, really. I just think that they're just going to get better. And while the Heat have a great future, and 100%, I could honestly see the Heat in like the 1 or 2, probably the 2 or the 3. I don't see them at the 1, but expect bigger jumps from Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. However, I don't think they're going to catch this big four. Number 6, we're going to have the Pacers. And the Pacers, I feel awful because they're a really good team, but the East is really loaded. So they don't really have like a superstar. They have like Oladipo, who's like a borderline all-star, Sabonis, who's like a borderline all-star, and then they have Brogdon, who's good, Turner, who's good, and then Warren, who's pretty good in the bubble. But since they're just kind of like, they have guys, a bunch of guys that are pretty good, they're never really like over the top. So they are making the playoffs, but I don't see them getting far in the playoffs. Number 7, we have the Raptors. And I actually have the Raptors taking a really big step back this year just because they lost Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. I feel like they're banking a lot on, while I do think Pascal Siakam will get better, I also think Kyle Lowry is kind of on the back end of his career, as well as they're banking a lot on seeing OG Anunoby make a big jump. And at number 8, last team in the playoffs, we have the Washington Wizards. I don't think that the Wizards will be good as everybody says. But I also think that Beal and Westbrook will help the team enough to win games. So I have them in the 8th seed. Number 9, to summarize, out of these teams that aren't in the playoffs, we got the Bulls. Man, I love my Bulls. But I think that everybody seems to be sleeping on the Bulls, but they have a really, really good young core, and Patrick Williams seems like the best rookie. Watching preseason games. At number 10, we have the Hawks. I'm kind of down on the Hawks this year. Everybody seems to have the Hawks as like a borderline playoff team. I do not. They've made some good moves, but I don't see it happening. At number 11, we have the Magic. They are assuming that they just gave a big contract to Markelle Fultz, but I don't see him getting that much better this year. Same with Cole Anthony. I don't think Cole Anthony was a great pick for them. And so the Magic just doesn't really have a lot. 12, I have the Cavs. I feel like Okoro is one of the best guys in the draft, but they just have way too many guards. And assuming that Kevin Love and Andre Drummond won't put up really good numbers, I have the Cavs at 12. At 13, I have the Hornets. LaMelo Ball is a bust. You heard it here first. I don't think he's if he. In my opinion, if LaMelo Ball did not have the hype, and did not have the name LaMelo Ball, he would not be a top 3 pick. Outside of him, the Hornets have very little talent. I don't think Gordon Hayward's enough, so 13th. 14th, we have the Knicks. The Knicks will be Knicks, enough said. And 15, we have the Pistons, who are even more hopeless than the Knicks. Both of those teams just have very little talent. So, sorry that took kind of a long time. So, Josh, let's hear your rankings. And what do you think about mine?
Yours were pretty good. I mean, honestly, there isn't that much parity. I mean, there is, but there isn't that much parity in ideas going into the season. I feel like the Bucks at 1 should be obvious for everyone, because as much as people are trying to hate on Giannis now for getting that MVP, which, by the way, people, it's a regular season award. You want to know what he did in the regular season? Had one of the greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. Okay? That amazing. So I have them 1, of course. I have them 1. I like the Bobby Portis signing after getting rid of Robin Lopez, and then as well as Holiday. I really like Holiday, but I'm a big fan of Holiday. I'm a lot bigger than most people, but that much for him? I mean, I guess. And then Giannis needs to build up a counter, but I'll talk more about this once we get into the playoff section. Next, I have the 76ers. Now, the 76ers, I think, are actually, no, sorry. I have the Celtics at 2. I'll get to the 76ers in a sec. But I think the Celtics, as you said, Tristan Thompson really is going to make that team a lot better, because he was already a starting center on a championship team with a star point guard and star power forward in 2016. Granted, I'm not saying Jason Tatum is LeBron, but top 10, top 15 player in the NBA power forward. So then I really like them, but they haven't drafted any bigs. I thought the kid from Kansas would have been a good draft, so you can develop with all the young guards that they have, like Aaron Naismith, Romeo Langford, who's honestly a bust, but you know what I mean. Just they needed to develop them more and get like a rookie big man or a young big man to go with them, and they didn't. So I feel like that's going to hurt them a little bit more long term. Then I have the 76ers. I think Joel Embiid is going to be in the running for MVP. I feel like he'll get back to MVP form because I feel like people forget and how damn good he was in the 2018-2019 season. This man put up 28, 15, and 6 assists a game with 4 blocks a game. He led the league in blocks. It was in
4 blocks a game?
What?
4 blocks a game?
4 blocks a game, I was pretty sure. I am pretty sure.
That seems like a ridiculously high number.
Well, and what's his name? Hassan Whiteside led last year was 3.7.
Okay.
I think so, at least. I can double check that. I could check myself. How about I check myself before I wreck myself? But wow, that was cringy. I even cringed just fucking saying that. Holy crap. Anyways, then I have the Heat at the 5th seed. And, you know, as Gavin said, wow, you have the Heat at the 5th seed. You know, like people will be saying that. You want to know what seed they were last year when they went to the NBA Finals? The 5th seed. So, like, shut up. Like, they are a 5th seed team. Like, Jimmy Butler's health is imperative. He averaged 2.9, so I was way off. Well, we don't have to talk about that. By the way, that was Joel Embiid's blocks per game. So I feel like the Heat are going to be really good, but I swear to God, ESPN, you could go kill yourself. You fucking ad hungry little bitch boys. Holy crap. They started playing an ad.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't? Oh. Okay, I cut that part.
You think?
Then next I have the Raptors. I feel like they're going to take a huge step back because the loss of Serge Ibaka and the loss of
Marcus
Gasol are really going to kill them because they did add Aaron Baines back, which I do like. He's a great center for shooting, and that's about it. But you want to know who else is a good center for shooting? Serge Ibaka. And you know what else he does? Great defense. You know what Aaron Baines doesn't do? Play defense. And their other center that they signed, so they still only have 2 centers on the roster, is Alex Len, a known heavy-footed, not good defender. So that anchoring spot, that center is not going to be good no matter who's in there in comparison to what they had last year. So I honestly, because Nick Nurse is such a great coach, I could see him up at 2. So if any of the teams I said between have I said the Nets yet? Have I talked about the Nets? I just skipped over the Nets?
No.
I just skipped over the Nets. I have the Nets at 4, but I'll go back to them in a sec. But 76ers, Celtics, Nets, Heat, Raptors, I can all see at the 2nd seed. Someone can make the case and I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But I don't think the Nets will be that great in the regular season. I think they have arguably the best postseason 7, 8, 9-man rotation in the NBA with Jared Allen, their starters. Jared Allen, their starters, Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie. So Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Karis LeVert off the bench with all their starters. Oh my goodness, that's an amazing playoff team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Oh my goodness. And I feel like their defense has been underrated so far because I've heard like people saying that this defense is going to be the worst thing ever, but like Jared Allen's an underrated rim protector, so I feel like he'll be serviceable to good. Then we have the Pacers. What they need to figure out is chemistry. They need to learn what that is, and try not to get Victor Oladipo to kill everyone else on the team, and Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis to like each other as well.
Chemistry is an understatement. The man was literally asking to be traded in front of his team during games.
I know. Insane. So that's why I think they'll drop so far because they were the 4th seed last year. So I think they'll drop that far just because, the chemistry is ass and they need the ball in Brogdon's hands more than Oladipo or Warren. I feel like Warren had that one stretch, but you also want to know what happened in that stretch where they gave the ball to Warren so much. They lost 4 playoff games. They didn't win a single one. They weren't even close. They were all blowouts, by 10 plus points. So it's like, give the ball to your best player, and that's Malcolm Brogdon. Let him create. Then I have the Wizards because, their wings are going to be imperative with Hachimura and Adia taking a step, and Adia, of course, just like starting off his career well. But I think Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal are way too good to keep out of the playoffs in comparison to the other teams that could be in, like the Atlanta Hawks, who I have at 9. Their defense is going to be trash, as well as they got 3 just power forwards that all play much worse at either small forward or center. Like John Collins can't play any other position. Danilo Gallinari sucks when he plays small forward for some reason. And then Onyeka Okongwu is not going to play defense, or not going to, not that, but he's not going to be a great center for them because their defense is already shit enough. Like their defense is already bad enough with Trae Young. Cam Reddish is okay. I want to say DeAndre Hunter is the guy they drafted. It's Hunter. Culliver went to the
and Cam Reddish.
Yeah, I said Cam Reddish. That they're okay defenders. They're okay, but nothing.
Yeah, Reddish is decent defense.
Yeah, Reddish can be decent.
They need them to pan out. And
exactly. Yeah. Cam Reddish got really hot and really good at the end of the year, so that was interesting. So that was good, but I don't see when you have Trae Young and he's not going to be trying on defense. Like, I don't care that he's not good at defense as long as he's trying. It's like old age Harden, like from 2012 to 2016. It's like he just didn't try on defense. Now, some people say Harden still doesn't. I say he at least tries. He's just fucking shit at it. Like, he's just not a good defender. But at least he's trying now. Like, he wasn't trying early in his career, and I think that's where he is now. Then 10, sneaking into the play-in, I have my Bulls, because I feel like they'll take a big step, but they don't have any of the superstars that all of the teams have above them. I think Levine can take a step to a superstar, but he isn't already proven. Every other team has a proven guy who can be a superstar, 1 through 9, right? Who can score 30 points a game, and that's what you need. But we need Levine to take a step, Kobe White to take a step, but Gavin doesn't want me to talk about the teams too much, so I guess I'll move on. Gavin. The Hornets are next, because I think Ball's playmaking will actually help a lot, even though he's like literally ass at everything else. Like, he's so bad at every concept of basketball except for playmaking, which is insane to me. It's so weird. He's like one of the better playmakers in the NBA already. Like, he just sees passes that are really good. Now, I don't like him, right? Gavin doesn't like him. I don't like him. But Gavin isn't going to give him the credit that I'm going to give him here, where it's like, even though it's just like him kind of over flashy plays, but there's still amazing passes that like you wouldn't notice, but he's overly flashy with them, which is annoying me as well. But there's still amazing passes that most people wouldn't, 95% of the NBA wouldn't be able to do. Like, I could name probably 6 players off the top of my head who could do those passes, but that's about it as a rookie, which is insane. And then you got to have Gordon Hayward take over the scoring, and he'll be healthy, so they'll be better than what they were in the preseason with him there. And at the 12, I have the Pistons, because I really like Sadiq Bey and I kind of like Hayes, and I think D Rose is in the contention for 6th man of the year. At 12, wow, Gavin, your eyes tell me everything.
I don't know if the Pistons are at 12.
I think Blake Griffin, if he's healthy, listen to me, if he's healthy. Last time he was healthy, tell me what he did last time he was healthy. Tell me? Exactly. You want to know what position they were with a worse roster, in my opinion, that year?
8th. Yeah, because they got clapped by the Bucks.
Yeah, they got clapped by the Bucks. So, with a more talented East and the Pistons getting D Rose and losing Drummond, which Drummond honestly hurt them, and then gaining, Plumlee, these better younger guys.
The Nets got Shamet. Did the Nets get Shamet?
Yeah, and then I don't know who they got in return.
They got Sadiq Bey. Okay.
Yeah, they got Sadiq Bey for that. So I really like Sadiq Bey. I think he'll be really good.
I know you're a big fan of Killian Hayes. I'm not the biggest fan of him. He struggled in preseason, but
I could care less about him, to be honest. He's all right, I guess. Yeah, his preseason really killed it for me. But moving on, we have the Magic. I feel like at 13, I feel like Jonathan Isaac is way more important to that team than people think, because he could do everything. He just doesn't do it all the time, and he does like the little things, as well as he's a future defensive player of the year in the making. So without him for the whole year, it's because he tore his ACL in August, and the ACL is typically a 9 to 10 month recovery. So they probably won't be in playoff contention. If they aren't, then they won't start him, so he won't be in there. So I don't think they'll be very good. I think Fultz has to take a step. I think Vucevic is going to start slowing down a bit because, I think he's 32, 33 at this point, and with a unathletic big man who doesn't spend $1 million a year on self-care like LeBron, I think they start slowing down at 31, 32. So he's going to start slowing down and not be that great. Then the Cavs, except Garland needs to not be. Like, Garland was so bad last year. I remember going into the draft being like, gosh darn it, we didn't get Garland. We're not going to get Garland, because I heard that the Cavs are going to get Garland. And then it's kind of funny that Garland was so bad last year, but I didn't know who Kobe White was at the time. Keep in mind, I didn't know who Kobe White was at the time when saying, dang it, we didn't get Garland. But he's been amazing, Kobe White. So shout out to Kobe White. I know you're watching. You're a big fan of the channel, of course. Knicks, I don't need to say anything. It's the Knicks.
It's will be next.
It's the Knicks. All right. Conference finals. Who do you got?
So for the East, I have the Celtics over the Bucks. I still don't think Giannis gets his ring or even his finals appearance. I just think that Brad Stevens is such a good coach. He's that chess match between him and Nick Nurse was so fun to watch, and he won that chess match. So they were this close to beating the Heat, and already I think the Heat aren't going to be like as good as they were. So I don't in my playoff picture, I do not have the Celtics running into the Heat. So I think the Celtics are just going to be really good. I think that having Kemba Walker come back would be awesome to help them in the playoffs. I think Jason Tatum is really just going to take over the team, as well as Jaylen Brown. Maybe they can be like co-stars or whatever. I don't know. But I think Tatum's definitely the leader of the team, but I also think Brown can be a definite contributor and each and every night, sort of like the Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum relationship, I guess, where it's like Dame's like the image of the team contributor and can be that guy on any night. So I think those two will progress mightily and then thought nicely and take them to the playoffs or take them through the Bucks into the finals.
All righty. I disagree with you, obviously, because your ideas are bad and you're stupid. But I have the Nets versus either the 76ers or the Bucks. The Bucks, it all depends. They will make it out of the first round. They're not going to make it out of the second round unless Giannis develops a counterpunch or a half-court game whatsoever. I love Giannis. I really like him. He's the best regular season player in the NBA by a long stretch. The only reason, this is a preview, the only reason he's not winning MVP this year is because no one wins 3 straight because people are tired. Like LeBron should have had probably 5 straight from 08 to 09, but Derrick Rose had to be in there because people were tired of voting LeBron. But I have to give that to LeBron. But they won't vote Giannis, and Giannis needs a half-court game. In the playoffs, it's not going to be easy transition buckets. It's not going to be all that because they will have time to scheme and make adjustments against you. And he needs to develop that counterpunch. He needs to find a way to, in the half court, create offense for himself, whether that's becoming Anthony Davis in the post, whether that's starting to be able to shoot a mid-range, maybe that's developing a face-up game like Joel Embiid, just something that makes teams scared in the half-court game of you, so you're not just standing at the three-point line waiting to cut and then just having a help defender come in and either foul you or you don't get the ball because you're double covered. So it's you gotta do something, Giannis. I know you're listening again, right? We have all the NBA players listening. So then I think, like I said, the Nets have, in my opinion, the best postseason 8-man rotation in the NBA, in my opinion, besides in the Eastern Conference. Sorry. In the Eastern Conference, the 8-man rotation is better than any 8-man rotation I can think of off the top of my head because of how deep that team is and how they have so many shot creators in every way. And it's about outscoring for them. I mean, their defense is not going to be great, which is going to be an issue, but they're going to need like Steve Kerr to try and become Brad Stevens, which is a high task. But, I think that KD will be able to bail out the defense a lot of times. So if Giannis doesn't develop that counter punch, it's going to be the 76ers. And I love the 76ers because I think Joel Embiid will take a step, like I said. I think Seth Curry's a great option. Danny Green, as many jokes as we made, he still shot 35% from the field in the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. Like, it wasn't even that bad. It was just when he missed, he hit like the goddamn backboard. So it was not great, but it also wasn't the worst thing in the world. Like, average is 36. So he just needs to be more consistent. And then I think Tyrese Maxey has shown that he has really been good and he can be that shot creator off the bench besides Tobias Harris. So I like that a lot. And I just think that team is going to go places. I feel like Simmons is also going to take a jump offensively.
So you think that it's going to be the Sixers over the Bucks?
I think it's either. So I think the Sixers are beating the Raptors, and the Celtics are beating the Pacers. So then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Eastern Conference. I think it's gonna be Bucks, Celtics, or Bucks, 76ers, and Celtics next. And I think the Nets are beating the Celtics no matter what. And then I think the 76ers or the Bucks. It just depends on Giannis. It all depends on Giannis if that whichever way that series goes.
Okay. Shall we move on to the West? So, shall we move on to the West?
No.
I didn't think so. So, starting off my West list, 1 through 15, number 1, the Lakers.
This is just standings at the end of the season, right? Not power ranking?
Yeah, this is just standings at the end of the season. Same with the East. So, number 1, the Lakers. I don't necessarily want them to be the Lakers or the Lakers to be at number 1, but they are. They're going to be at number 1. I mean, LeBron and Anthony Davis, they did it last year. Like, who's to say that they can't do it again this year? They got some better role players. They got Jordan Matthews. They got Marc Gasol. They got Montrezl Harrell. They got Dennis Schroeder. They are loaded again. At number 2, we got the Clippers, who I'm actually kind of high on the Clippers this year. I think the new coach, as well as the inclusion of Serge Ibaka, will do good things for the Clippers. So I think that Paul George playoff thing was kind of a fluke. More so with Kawhi Leonard, it was a fluke. I think Paul George. I think people are like. I also think that was kind of a fluke. Like, I think both of them will play better in the playoffs. I think both of them will not choke as awful as they did against the Nuggets. And number 3, I actually have the Mavericks because I think Luka is going to take a big step up this year. I also feel like guys like Derlon Wright, Trey Burke, Dwight Powell could also take kind of build around Luka to try and get the Mavericks even bit higher than they were last year, and I think it's going to work really good. So at number 4, we got the Jazz. And like I said, I was high on the Jazz last year. They didn't at the end of March, they weren't great. Then they came in to the bubble and almost upset the Nuggets as they blew a 3-1 lead. So, I mean, once again, I'm high on the Jazz this year. I really like Joe Ingles and Mike Conley. Mike Conley wasn't great, but then he was God in the bubble. So hopefully he can play on that level again. And they also have Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert locked in. So hopefully the Jazz can do good. At number 5, then we got the Nuggets. And I feel like a lot of people are hyping up the Nuggets after Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic went on a tear. But they lost a few key guys. They lost Jeremy Grant. They lost
Plumlee,
that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, Mason Plumlee. Both went to the Pistons. So I don't think the Nuggets will be as good. I'm expecting a little bit of regression from Jamal Murray. I do think Jokic will be as good, but those role players around him, unless Michael Porter Jr. jumps to all-star level, I think the Nuggets would be 5th. Number 6, this is a bit of a controversial one. I have the Grizzlies. So I'm actually super high on the Grizzlies just because they're young guys. And every time you have a core of young guys, I just see this team getting better and better each year. At the reigning Rookie of the Year, John Morant, he'll elevate this team. You got JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr. I believe he's hurt, but he will be coming back. I believe, right, Josh?
I actually have them ranked a lot lower than I want them to be because I'm a fan of them, but I'll talk about that more. But he's not supposed to come back till like February, so like only a month left in the season.
Okay, so nonetheless, they do still have Brandon Clark and Jonas Valanciunas. So, I mean, the Grizzlies, they were in the 8th spot or the 9th spot last year, but I do think that they're going to get better. At number 7, we have the Warriors, and the injury to Klay Thompson hurt more than a lot of people perceive it to be. Originally, I had the Warriors at like 4th or 5th. Now I have them at 7th. I do think Curry will work his magic. I also think James Wiseman, spoiler alert, will win Rookie of the Year. And so I have the Warriors at 7. At number 8, rounding off the playoff spot, I have the Trailblazers, who actually had a pretty good offseason. They picked up Junior Robert Covington and Inez Kanter. So that was really good for them. Damian Lillard, he's not better than Steph Curry, so ESPN, stop making him better than Steph Curry. Young kids, stop making him better than Steph Curry. But yes, the Blazers will be the 8th seed. Number 9, we have the Rockets. I feel like James Harden isn't content in Houston, so I don't think he's going to be playing. Like, he'll probably just – I feel like he's not going to help his team win. He's just going to be there for his numbers, as well as then John Wall and Boogie Cousins and a bunch of scrubs aren't really good enough to help the Rockets, not even into the playoffs. So I think a big step back and a big rebuild will be coming for the Rockets. Number 10, we have the Pelicans. And I think the Pelicans can very easily make the playoffs with Zion, Brandon Ingram, and Lonzo, Eric Bledsoe, and the guy from Alabama, the point guard from Alabama. I don't know his name.
What team?
Pelicans, the point guard that they drafted.
Kira Lewis.
Yes, but I don't understand how they signed a point, or they traded for a point guard and then drafted a point guard. So I heard talks that they were going to move Lonzo to shooting guard, which would be a disaster. So I'm wondering how this 3-point guard team will help or hurt them.
How would it be like you can move Kira Lewis to shooting guard because he's like a Drew Holiday type. That's why they
they said they were going to move Lonzo to the shooting guard.
But it doesn't matter in this positionless league. Like, he'll just be bringing up the ball. He'll just be considered a shooting guard because he's 6'6".
But they're not going to start him immediately.
And then who's the other guy? Eric Bledsoe?
Eric Bledsoe, yeah.
Bench player. The other one is your backup. It'll work.
Number 11, we have the Suns. And once again, I also think the Suns could make a playoff run. They were 8-0 in the bubble. I really like the guys that are around Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. I like Mikal Bridges. The inclusion of CP3 was great. I just think they're like 2 years away from being like 2 years away, I guess. So I do think the Suns, your time will come. But right now, since the West is just so loaded, you're at 11. Number 12, we have the Timberwolves. And I just feel like they don't have enough talent outside of Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. I don't think Anthony Edwards will help the team. I actually think he'll bring them down a little bit because I think him and D'Angelo Russell will clash for like shots on the court, and the defense is just non-existent. Number 13, we have the Spurs. And the Spurs, like, once again, they have fading veterans and LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan, then a bunch of young new guys like DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, and Derek White. So I think that the Spurs could get back in the playoffs, and maybe if DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge have a little bit of magic in them, they could potentially make the playoffs, which is crazy to say. But as of now, they're 13th. Number 14th, we have the Kings. Crazy to say that the Kings are the 14th. In my opinion, they will finish as the 14th best team, or I guess worst team, second worst team in the West, which is crazy because I still think the Kings are a solid team. I think they would finish like around like 9th or 10th in the if they were in the East. But I'm interested to see how De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton are used. I think Marvin Bagley. Josh, I know he's on your fantasy team, so you better hope that he has a big year as well. No more Bojan Bogdanovic, I believe. It's not Bogdan. I know that. It's Bojan. Bojan. Damn it, I was close. So yeah, Kings at 14. And then last place we have the Thunder. So they will be starting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Al Horford, and 23 first-round draft picks from now till 2024 as the starting lineup, and Alexei Pokusevski. No. But the Thunder, they have millions of draft picks, a lot of first-rounders, so the future is bright for them. The present, not so much. So those are my 15. Josh, your thoughts?
I am very controversial this episode. My rankings are going to piss a lot of people off, but I will like to preface by saying I'm probably wrong about this. First off, I'm probably wrong about this list. Number one. Number two, this was probably the hardest list I've had to make in my long, storied, historic career as a sports broadcaster in existence. What has it been? 9 months now? 8 months? But just get pissed at me. I'm cool with it. Just comment so we get more engagement and more views. So it'd be cool if you commented how much you hate me because of this list. First, Clippers. First seed Clippers. Now, you may be surprised, right? Instant, off the bat, the Lakers are the best team.
I would thought you hated the Clippers. I thought you were always down on the Clippers.
I am, but I'm super down on the Lakers the regular season because I think LeBron has to take at least 20 of these 72 games off. For me, at least. I think he has to because he has another chance at a title, and because they're so good in the playoffs and they just made their roster better that somehow after winning a championship, they made their roster better. Like, he has to take games off and focus more on the playoffs. So, I actually don't have them first. And I think the Clippers will focus more on because they realize what their mistake is, I feel like. I hope so. I hope they realize what their mistake is so we could get a 7-game series between the Clippers and the Lakers just because that would be super interesting. And I feel like this team's going to finish as the number 1 seed just because I feel like Kawhi's going to have a comeback season. He's going to be really pissed, so he's going to have a comeback season where he's going to be really, 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 really good, like 2019 playoffs Kawhi good for an entire season. And I feel like losing Montrez and gaining Serge Ibaka is a positive, and they didn't really change anything else.
Addition by subtraction.
Yeah, exactly. So, not only that is I think Serge Ibaka is a better player than because he's a more efficient scorer, he's a more well-rounded scorer and a better defender. So I think that'll help a lot. But I just think that they'll focus more on the regular season, getting at least chemistry instead of just talking all the shit the whole year and then like barely trying in the regular season, getting their asses whooped from the Nuggets, who I actually have as the number 2 seed. I have the Nuggets as the 2 seed, and then the Lakers at the 3 seed. So then people stop yelling at me. But I have the Nuggets at the 2 seed because I feel like Jokic is going to have an MVP-like season, and I feel like Murray has to get consistent again because I feel like people forget that he averaged only 18 points a game last year, 18.3 to be exact, in the regular season. He's a very inconsistent regular season player. One night he'd put up 30, one night he'd put up 2. So it's like he has to get more consistent and get that scoring up to like at least Zach LaVine level of 26 a game. So it's very I think that he will be able to do it, and it's very interesting how much better he got in the playoffs versus because he got more efficient on more attempts and scored more. So it was insane at how good he got. Then number 3, the Lakers. I don't really need to talk about them. They're the best team. Why do I not have them there? I already said LeBron's going to sit a bit, and that's really going to hurt the team rankings-wise.
I sure hope he doesn't because he's on my fantasy team.
Oh, you have LeBron?
Yeah, he was my first-round pick.
I hope he does sit a lot, but I just think he will because, like, He's what, 36 now in his 18th season, and he's still in a championship window. He's not going to care about a 72-game regular season with Anthony Davis, Dennis Schroeder. Who's the new kid who dropped 33? I forget.
Taylor Horton.
Yeah, Taylor Horton Tucker, Montrezl Harrell. When you have all those guys, and Anthony Davis, in my opinion, is an MVP candidate this year. Because he's so underrated. By the way, Anthony Davis, like, he's a top 3 player in the NBA, in my opinion, top 4. But
yeah, top 3. I think top 2. I think he's the second best player in the NBA, in my opinion.
Who's number 1 for you?
Giannis, still.
Giannis, okay. For me, I have to go. It's so hard. I honestly may put AD at number 1 just because of the playoffs. He's so good in the playoffs as well.
I tried to keep the playoffs out of it, and even so, everybody gives Giannis crap about the playoffs, but he was actually putting up 2 less points.
Yeah, but that's what matters as he went down. But let's not get into that. But he went down. That's what matters, is that he went down from where he was. So if that's where they were to win games, and he went down from that, and then they can't win games, it doesn't matter what here is. It's below here, what he was doing. But next, I have the Jazz at 4 because I really like their team. They're super deep, super deep. I think Mike Conley's gonna have a comeback year, and I feel I like their roster a lot. And I think Donovan Mitchell is going to take another big step this year because I feel like he took amazing rookie year, and he took a baby step sophomore year, and same with his third year. But I feel like this year they're really gonna skyrocket. They're gonna, and I like the addition of the Kansas guy I was trying to talk about earlier that I forgot his name for. I'm gonna mispronounce this. Udoka Azubuike. I like him a lot as a backup center to Rudy Gobert, and also you could not have a better mentor for a similar built guy. And I just feel like their roster is super deep, like I said, 5 times. But I just think that they're going to be really good, and Donovan Mitchell is going to be an all-star, possibly all-NBA player. Then at 5, I have the Rockets. Right? Yeah, I have the Rockets. Because what are you doing out of the playoffs? I don't like James Harden at all. I hate him, in fact. I think he's annoying. I think he's bad for the sport. I think he's not that great at the game of basketball. At least overrated. He's obviously a top 10 player, right? But I put him at 8 or 9. And I see people putting him as a top 3, top 5 scorer of all time. I see people putting him in the top 30 all time. What the hell are you doing?
Someone tweeted me out saying that he was the most efficient scorer of all time.
So dumb. Right back at you, Gavin. What do you mean they're missing the playoffs? What are you talking about? Do you not know anything about basketball? Bro.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
How? Okay. You have John Wall, who's looking like his old self. He's maybe not as explosive, but he's looking more efficient and a better shooter than his old self. DeMarcus Cousins is looking like a better shooter and less explosive than his old self.
Still preseason games against the Bulls.
What?
Still preseason games against the Bulls.
Yeah, but it's like the Lowry Markkanen thing that we're going to talk about soon that we totally didn't record before this, and it's not going to show up later in the video. But basically, it's not just that they were putting up numbers on the Bulls. It was how they themselves solo were acting against a force against them, whether that was a good force in the Clippers or that was a bad force in the preseason Bulls. It doesn't matter because DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall are playing physically like themselves. They're not playing like they tore an Achilles. Does that make sense? Or do you not understand what I'm saying?
No. That makes sense.
They're playing good for themselves. It doesn't matter what they're doing against the competition. Just as themselves, they're looking good. They're moving good. They're doing good. And then there's Christian Wood, right? Then there's Christian Wood, who put up 35 the other day. Christian Wood's insane. He's so athletic. He's such a great big. He can shoot it from 3, pull-ups. He can create for himself. He can, dunk it anytime you throw it up to the rim. He's a good defender, a decent defender. And then, you have all the same guys from last year that are just 3-and-D maniacs, like Eric Gordon, like Daniel House, like Ben McLemore, who are all decent players and can hit down shots. And then you still have James Harden. Like, as much as I hate him, he's a great scorer. He's not top 10 all time like some people are saying, but he's very good. What do you mean they're not going to make the playoffs? They're a very good, very deep roster, and they just got deeper, right? They got rid of Westbrook and they got deeper by signing Cousins and Christian Wood, and then trading for John Wall. They just got deeper because that's what they needed, because taking the ball away from James Harden in that system is bad. So them missing the playoffs is idiotic. Even worse than my list of the Clippers at number 1, even if that turns out to be wrong. Like, I understand why people would hate that.
Assuming that Harden stays with them.
Even if he doesn't, what are they going to get back? Because they don't have to trade him, right? With this whole player empowerment stuff, they still have him to a contract, a legally binding contract that means he has to play for them, or else they're not going to pay him. And he's not going to take a year off of his prime. And $40-something million just because you don't want to play there for 1 year. I don't think he's that stupid. So then you get back Ben Simmons. That makes the whole team, way better. So you have to change the system, but that'll make the team way better because the team around him is one of the best that James Harden has had, at least the deepest. His best was obviously when he went to the conference final and nearly beat the Warriors. But enough arguing about that. Then at 6, I have the Mavs because Kristaps Porzingis is going to be out. He's going to be
the Mavs behind the Rockets.
Can you listen to me? Did you listen to what I just said?
Dude,
No. Listen, Gavin. Did you listen to what I just said?
I did.
You listen to what I just said. Did you listen to what I just said?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, Kristaps Porzingis, their second best player, an all-star 3 years ago, and then was injured the next 2 years and just came back last year. He's injured again for the majority of the season. I think that's a is that 5-6? No, they're not playing each other. But if they play each other in the playoffs, the Mavs are going to beat them. But you want to know why they're going to be ranked ahead? The Rockets are? Because their second best player is out, Gavin. That's how injuries work. They kill your team more than you would think. That's why I have the Grizzlies not making the playoffs and not even making the play-in, because Jaren Jackson Jr. is out for the majority of the season. So that's why. Then at 7, I have the Trailblazers because their roster is very good. They need Gary Trent to move up. And they need Robert Covington, and Yusuf Nurkic is an underrated center who could put up 25 and 10 every night, and he's going to be really, really good for them. And I feel like Robert Covington was kind of like the missing piece they needed last season. And they need CJ McCollum to step up in the regular season again. So I have the Trailblazers at 7, then I have the Warriors at 8, because I think Steph Curry is being way too much. Like, they're saying, like, this season is completely lost without Klay Thompson. It's like, this man had the best scoring season, in my opinion, all time, averaging nearly 35 points on a 50-40-90 split. Like, insane. So the Warriors are going to be the 8th seed just because everything else around him is crap, to be honest. Like, Andrew Wiggins is okay, but he's just a volume scorer, kind of like a Trae Young, an empty stat guy, right? He's going to put up 22, but it's going to be on 35% shooting.
Yeah.
It's just because he's going to take a ton of shots. Then Kelly Oubre, like, yeah, he's athletic.
3-and-D guy.
He's not a great defender. He's an okay 3-point shooter. He's an okay scorer. He's a good finisher. He's an okay player, like a good role player, but not your starting small forward. Draymond Green at this point is an okay defender and a crap on offense, so he's a negative.
I said he was going to win DPOY this year.
He's a negative the past 2 years, so I don't think he's good. Then James Wiseman, I like him a lot, but I don't think they'll just use him as kind of like a rim runner this year and not really develop him yet. So I don't think that he'll do amazing stats, but I think he'll do what they ask of him. And then who's on their bench? I don't know.
I was going to say their bench is really what's holding them back.
Yeah, who's their bench? I mean, they have Eric Pascal. That's the only guy I can think of off the top of my head who's on their bench.
Yeah, they have like Eric Pascal, some guy from from some long European named guy, and that's about it.
Yeah. So why are they making the 8th seed? Because Steph Curry. Like Steph Curry's gonna carry that team so much. And honestly, this team's 14th without Steph Curry. This team's 14th.
Well, we saw last year they were 15th.
Yeah, they were 15th. I think they got a little bit better with Weissman. That's why I think they would be 14th, and then the Thunder just blew everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Then 9, right? Let's move on to 9. I have the Suns. Because I feel like Ayton's going to take another big step because that's all he's been doing, right? He had an underrated rookie year. He got way better last year, and then he's just going to get better again, and his numbers are going to be way better with Chris Paul. I think Devin Booker is going to go up again, and then I love their wings. I love their wings with Mikal Bridges is so underrated, and then Cam Johnson out of UNC, the rookie last year, super good as well. So they have a good team, and their team is also, with the leadership, it'll help their rookie players. So I have them at 9. Then at 10, I have the Pelicans. At 10, I have the Pelicans because Zion is obviously going to take a step because, as much as I hate on Zion for just being overhyped way too much like LaMelo Ball is, he averaged 22, 8 and 5 on good shooting splits his rookie year. That's very good. If he played the whole season, he obviously would have been rookie of the year. But because John Morant played the whole season and played more consistently than he was. But the thing is that he's going to progress a lot. I think Kira Lewis is really good. I think that setup with a slashing guard and then a passing guard is going to work out really well. And I think the addition of Steven Adams to develop Jackson Hayes is underrated, that he's going to be good.
Derek Favors as well, or is he gone?
He went back to Utah, I think.
That's what I thought as well.
Yeah. So he went back to Utah. So I have them at 10. At 11, I have the Timberwolves. Because I feel like Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be a great off-ball superstar.
No, he is on the Pelicans still.
Oh, he is?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I feel like he's going to be an underrated off-ball superstar, and I think D'Lo having his own team per se, again, where he's going to be commanding the ball for the majority of the year and be able to work with someone for more than a year, because he had 3 teams last year, the Nets, in the offseason, and then towards the end of the offseason, he got traded to Golden State, and then during the season, he got traded to the Timberwolves. So I feel like he's going to be underrated. He's going to be a good passer. And keep in mind, all these teams are good. I think 13 of the 15 teams in the Western Conference are good, right? I feel like it'll be like the NFC, where the last record to get in the playoffs is going to be lower than, let's say, the East, maybe. I don't know if that's going to be a fact, but it's just going to be lower because they're all going to be beating up on each other because they're all very good, because anyone can beat anyone at any time besides the Thunder and the Spurs. So I think the Timberwolves also have a good deep. I think they drop below the next 2 teams, or they drop below the next team if this is true. I'm pretty sure Mikal Bridges got convicted of a felony.
Who?
Mikal Bridges, really good role player who's a great 3-point shooter, tenacious defender, athletic finisher, really good. He got traded to them last year. What? Malik Beasley. Did I say Mikal Bridges?
Yeah, you said Mikal Bridges. Oh,
sorry,
Malik got traded to.
Yeah, he did during last year. He got traded to the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I know that.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the Timberwolves.
I think he got convicted of the felony. So I think if he's out, I think they drop below the next team, which is the Grizzlies. And why do I have the Grizzlies so low, you might ask? Jaren Jackson Jr., he's the best defender on that team by far, and he anchors that defense. It's like having Rudy Gobert out for their defense because he's so good. He's so good at defense. It's like having Rudy Gobert out. Did he?
I said, and he can shoot.
And he can shoot. So I think it's a much bigger loss than people think. And I think John Morant's going to be so good. I think he's going to be better than Zion at the end of his career, and I really, really like him. I just think this roster is good, but missing Jaren Jackson Jr. like missing Kristaps Porzingis is going to hurt them a lot. And that's why they're going to drop down to 12. I think they can be all the way up to 7. For all these teams, it's like a range. Like I could see the Blazers all the way up at 4, but I could also see them at 10. I could see the Nuggets at 2, but I could also see them at 6. So it's very flexible this year. A lot more flexible than in past years. And then the Kings at 13. I think De'Aaron Fox is really good. I think Tyrese Halliburton, that mix, it's kind of the same thing down in New Orleans, a slashing guard and a playmaking guard. But I feel like they're both better than LaMelo Ball and Kira Lewis. So it's like a better version of that. And I think you just got to keep Buddy Hield happy and hope that Marvin Bagley stays healthy and just gets better. That's what you got to hope there. The Spurs, they have decent guys like DeJounte Murray. I really like Devin Vassell out of Florida State. I like him a lot. I think DeMar DeRozan is underrated, but just because of all the young talent in the West, I think they dropped down to the 14th. To be honest, I think that they are either equal or just slightly below the Bulls at 10 in the East. So that shows you the disparity. And then the worst team in the NBA, the Thunder. They're obviously the worst because it's SGA and absolutely nothing. So we just got to hope SGA takes a big scoring leap because he'll be getting the ball so much. But let's move on. Oh, why should we move on? Western Conference Finals.
Western Conference Finals. Who is your Western Conference?
Lakers, Clippers, on it. I mean, easy. Lakers, Clippers.
Lakers, Clippers. It's weird. I feel like 2020, or I guess the end of the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. I cannot speak. For the second year in a row, I'm picking the Lakers over the Clippers in 5.
You picked the Clippers last year. Don't even cap. I remember you saying you picked the Clippers to win the championship.
Yeah, second year in a row of having the Lakers versus the Clippers. Last year I picked the Clippers versus the Lakers.
Oh, I thought you said the Lakers beating the Clippers in 5.
This year I have the Lakers beating the Clippers.
Oh, I thought it was the second year in the row you did. Okay. Yeah. Same thing. I don't have it in 5. I have it in 6 or 7. But yeah, same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
easy enough. Final. Who you have? What's your final?
Finals, Lakers, Celtics for the millionth time that they've played in the finals. So yes, if those of you that believe the NBA is rigged, here's some proof for you. And I think the Lakers are going to repeat. I know it's not the fun answer. It's not the answer that most people would have wanted, but I just think this Lakers team is too dominant, especially if what Josh was saying, that LeBron and HE load manage a little bit over this 72-game season. God, I really hope he doesn't do that. But I think there's no reason why the Lakers can't not only reload. It's like they reloaded, but they added like 3 extra bullets. So I think the Lakers will repeat this year. As much as I don't want to say it, Lakers is the best pick.
Nice. Yeah, I also agree with you that the Lakers are going to repeat. I don't really see a team that can stop them. The only team that can stop them, once again, I feel like the whole playoffs in the NBA matters. Not matters, but like hangs on the thread. Can Giannis develop a counter? If he develops a counter in a half-court game, the league's over. He's winning the next 7 championships. That player is unstoppable. Like, no matter what that counter is, whether it's a 3-point shot, whether it's a post, whether it's a face-up game, they're winning the championship, and then they're winning the next few. But because we don't know that, and we know what the Lakers are winning the championship right now. And I think it'll be over the Nets because of just how good I think that that playoff 8-man rotation is.
Think about how good the Bucks would be if they kept Brogdon.
Oh my God! Instead of Bledsoe, that team is
like a 2-guard and Drew is the 1. So you'd have a lethal offensive and defensive 1-2. Then Giannis.
And then you have the best defender in the NBA and a decent 3-point shooting defensive center in Brook Lopez, and then just casually, Chris Middleton, 2-time All-Star, who averages 25 a game.
Those
25% from 3. Then also bench players like Bobby Portis, who I think it like works perfectly in like 10 minutes a
They
game.
got Bobby Portis and Bryn Forbes as well.
Yeah.
They acquired Bryn Forbes.
But I honestly, I'm nervous about my picks just like in general because I feel like this year, last year, going into last year, right, we were saying, oh, look at all this parity. This year, 10 times more parity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see legitimately 14 teams that have a possibility of making it in the playoffs. 14 in the playoffs, I think, for the West. And then for the East, I can legitimately see 11 into the.
I can see 14 for the West and for the East.
No, 10. Sorry, not 11. 10. I don't see the Hornets, the Pistons, the Magic, or the Cavs, or of course the disappointment out east. By the way, I just want to give a shout out. I'm sorry, not one bit to Knicks fans. Like, I don't care that you're depressed and whatever because your team sucks. You deserve it because you live in New York and you're so cocky about it. So fuck you for living in New York. Fuck New York, and fuck any New York team except for the Artemi Panarin in particular and the Giants for some reason. I don't know why I like them, but I do. Everyone else, go fuck yourself.
The more you know. So now we're going to move on to the NBA awards. So first, we're just going to start with the MVP, Sixth Man, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, Coach of the Year, and the Rookie of the Year. The Big Six. So Josh, I'm going to ask you first. Who is your MVP?
Easy. Luka.
Yep, you do.
It's obvious. It's obvious. It's not even close. They're not going to vote Giannis. LeBron's not going to play enough games. Anthony Davis is going to be really good, but they aren't going to take him because Luka's going to be averaging 33. I'm calling a stat line right now. 33, 12, and 12. GOAT. No, I'm joking. But I do think he could do a 30-point triple-double this year because last year he averaged 29, 10 rebounds, and 9.2 assists. That's one assist and 1 point from a triple-double. And without Kristaps for the majority of the year, then he's going to put up more points. So he's going to be amazing.
Okay, well, I don't work for ESPN, so I'm going to not go with the favorite. Giannis won 2 years in a row. What's to say he's not going to win 3 in a row? What is to say that he's not just going to surpass what he did last year and the year before that? I mean, he's only going to go up. So Giannis is the MVP. I just can't see him putting up worse numbers than he did last year, and I don't think Luka's going to put up that 33, 12, and 12 like you said last year. So, I mean, Giannis is like you said, the regular season king, and you also said that people don't vote for an MVP 3 years in a row just because they want to change for some reason. I don't know. I don't understand why they would do that, but I mean, they could happen, I guess. But yeah, Giannis is going to three-peat the MVP. So I'd like you to explain your very shocked look on your face.
No, I'm shocked about like what you're saying. Like, I get what you're saying. I do think Giannis will be better as well. I think he will be better. I think he'll average he averaged last year 30, 15, and 7, 30, 15, 6,
Right.
30, 15, 5, around there. So I do think he'll be better. But here's the thing. As long as he's not averaging the number of points as James Harden, the number of assists as Luka Doncic, and the number of rebounds as Hassan Whiteside, which, I mean, he led the league in rebounds last year with like 0.1 more than Giannis himself. As long as he's not leading the league in all three stats, he's not winning the MVP. They don't vote MVP 3 years in a row. Do I think Giannis will play like the best player in the league? Yes. Because we're predicting who we think will win MVP, right? Not who we think our MVP is, right?
Yeah.
Which one are we doing?
Yeah, who do you think is going to win MVP?
Okay, so who do I think Luka? Who do I think
So,
the
yeah, you
MVP
think
will
Luka's
be
going
myself?
to win MVP?
If I had a vote, I'm voting Giannis. But I think the Writers Association is going to vote Luka.
Because you don't think they're going to vote for Giannis for a third year in a row.
Exactly, because they did that with LeBron. They did that with Shaq. They did that with Jordan twice. They did that with actually Jordan 3 times. And then they did the only time they've ever done that in the past, like however many years, would be Larry Bird from, I want to say 84 to 86 or 85 to 87, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
So they
I mean,
really haven't done it in nearly a half year.
now that I think about it, like, yeah, I mean, they did the same thing with LeBron last year, where it was like Anthony Davis was putting up like slightly better numbers than LeBron, but then everybody at ESPN was like, "Oh, you." Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, LeBron is going to win it just because it would like fit the storybook ending or something, like LeBron making history and winning a title during this, or winning a Finals MVP to go along with his title. Like it would be only right. Like even though Anthony Davis, probably in my opinion, the pick for Finals MVP, they went with like what would fit their storybook ending. So there is the chance. I'm banking on that ESPN isn't going to be gay, and some people. So yeah, we shall see. So moving on to the sixth man, for me, they're coming from the Miami Heat, and it's either going to be Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson, depending on which one starts and which one comes off the bench. So if they're starting Tyler Hero, I think it's going to be Duncan Robinson. If they're going to start Duncan Robinson, I think it's going to be Tyler Hero. Why? Because these guys are just absolutely elite, and they're only going to get better. I think Tyler Hero is significantly better than Duncan Robinson, especially in terms of like finishing and defense. But nonetheless, Duncan Robinson is just an elite sniper. He was putting up 22 a game in his rookie season in the finals against who had a good defense running, or who were like a defensive minded team and had a good defense going. So I think he's only going to get better. So I think he'll win the sixth man, even if they're starting Tyler Hero. So I think it's either going to be one of the two.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I feel like it depends on a lot of who's starting and who's not, because I feel like if Seth Curry's coming off the bench, I think Seth Curry can win it. If it's if they're gonna have Serge Ibaka come off the bench, I think Serge Ibaka has a chance at it. I think obviously Schroeder. I don't think Harrell will have a chance at repeating, but I think Schroeder could. Right, Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, that's right. I think Brandon Clark of the Memphis Grizzlies is a underrated player, but I think he'll be starting this year because Jaren Jackson Jr. is injured, like I said, and he won't be starting, so they might start him, which is also going to hurt the Grizzlies, which is, what I said earlier. So my 6 man year, I did not prepare. That was the one award I forgot to put down, but off the top of my head right now, I'm going Schroeder because Lakers just moved there. He was a finalist last year, and he's going to be putting up a lot of points this year because LeBron will be – I don't think he'll be sitting. I think he will, but not – it's hard to explain, but I don't think LeBron will be playing LeBron minutes or LeBron amount of games because
he was
the last time he played was October.
Like the rest that he didn't get.
Exactly. And for them, the regular season doesn't matter because they're going to be ranked 1, 2, or 3 anyways because of how talented their roster is. So I feel like Schroeder will win that award.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to go a little bit outside of the box, but Schroeder is definitely like Schroeder, Harrell, and Lou Will are always in the conversation every year. So moving on to Defensive Player of the Year. This is a guy who just got paid. I think he's going to step into some like the top 15 players in the NBA. Rudy Gobert, the Stifle Tower. He's always been good on defense. I believe he has 1 or 2 Defensive Player of the Years already, Josh.
Who?
Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, he already has 2. He won 2017, 2018, and then – or no, 2018, 2019, Giannis won last year in 2020.
Yeah. Okay, so I think he's going to win it again. I think the Jazz will be pretty good this year, as you already heard. So Yeah, I just think I don't think Giannis will win it back to back. I don't think Anthony Davis is going to play enough, so that just leaves the stifled tower, who I think is going to make an improvement, especially on the defensive end. Who's to say that Rudy Gobert can't win it?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I honestly think they didn't pick Rudy Gobert last year. Is the same reason they won't pick Giannis this, or not Giannis for DPOY, but Giannis for MVP. Because you know what? You want to know something? He won back to back. That means last year would have been his third. Now, do I agree that Giannis was the best defender in the NBA? Yes, I do. I do think he should have won it. But I'm saying they probably didn't vote him because I don't even think he was a finalist. Was he? Because it was Anthony Davis himself or Giannis, and then I don't remember who the third guy is. It most likely was Gobert, but
Last year?
got last year got
It was Gobert, Giannis, and AD.
okay. So Gobert did make the finals, but he got no first place votes. It was either Giannis or AD, and I think the runner up of last year will win it this year in Anthony Mothercrapping Davis. He's going to win it this year just because they don't want to give it to Giannis again. How boring is that going to be? The writers are writers, right? The writers, the NBA Writers Association, the Basketball Writing Association, whatever they call themselves. You know what they do? They write stories. They write headlines. They get clicks. You know what they don't want? The same thing every year. That's why they're not going to vote Giannis for either of those awards. Giannis will not win an award this year unless he's raising up the NBA trophies if he's able to change it himself. So I don't think that Giannis will win it, even though I do think Giannis will be one of the best defenders in the NBA. And I think Davis will be right there with him. Not saying that Davis won't be the best, just saying that I think Davis will win it.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on to one of the more debatable ones, as there's no like clear-cut favorite in this one, and the most improved player, which is actually my favorite award of these. So for me, I'm actually going to say Malcolm Brogdon, who's actually my favorite Pacers. The reason I think this is he's already made steady improvements since his rookie year. So already, I think even if Oladipo stays, I think he'll be better. But what I'm really banking on is I think Oladipo is going to get traded during this year, which is just going to free up more time for Malcolm Brogdon. And I think he'll go up to like a 25, 26, 27 a game score, a definite all-star, and like the leader, like the offensive and like the leader of the backcourt for the Pacers, what I'm trying to say. So I think he'll win most improved, going from like good to great.
Makes sense. That was honestly a great idea. Or not idea, sorry. That was a great pick. I will have to go with a Chicago Bull. Lauri Markkanen. Okay. I think it'll be Lauri Markkanen because he averaged the lowest points of his career so far, the lowest shooting split, so he did awful last year. Watching him in the preseason, I know it's the preseason, but like the preseason is just looking. The only thing that deducts the preseason is that players aren't really trying on defense or it's not the best players. But I'm not worried about his numbers this preseason. I'm worried about how he's looking and how confident he is. He's taking deep threes. He's taking threes in general. He's, attacking the basket. He's moving with more fluidity. He's creating more offense. He's just a better offensive player all around. He's gotten better in every aspect.
Could you explain the Jim Boylan story to our viewers? The story with him and Jim Boylan last year?
Oh, my. So, Jim Boylan was being a coach. He was being a Coach Emil. Basketball players, you know who I'm talking about. A guy, an old school guy who's going to be like, yeah, you tall, you're in the post. You're tall, you're not leaving the restricted zone. You're not allowed to leave that zone unless you're not going to get a 3-second in the lane violation. So he said if you basically you cannot attempt more threes than rebounds you get in a game. right? So he couldn't attempt more than 5 or 6 threes a game because I'm pretty sure he averaged 6 rebounds a game, which is interesting that he tried to use that as motivation because he had his lowest rebounding totals in his career. He averaged 9 the year before, 9, nearly 10. Last year, he averaged 6.3, and then his 3-point attempts, 6.3 3-point attempts per game, literally the same as his number of rebounds per game. So that story seems true. Now that could be fake, but like he wasn't taking very many threes. He wasn't rebounding as well because he was like being forced to rebound, and he's still a person, and like people like during this pandemic are like being told to stay inside. We're not going to get political, but just being told to stay inside, then people want to go outside more, right? No one ever thinks before Corona, never thinks like, I need to go outside and go on a walk. It's my right to go outside and go on a walk and go into restaurants. It's my right to do that. Everyone was just like, we can just do it. But now that it's restricted from them, they want it more because that's just human nature. So I think he's going to have a breakout year again. I think he'll average at least 22, 12, and I don't know, probably like the same amount of assists as usual, like 2. He's not a great passer, but like he'll increase his points a lot and his rebounds a lot because he won't be being forced to, and he'll be playing more naturally and more instinctually than like a robot of Coach Emmel and Coach Boylan. Or I shouldn't even call him a coach. Disappointment Boylan.
Jim Boylan. No coach more.
Say that with disgust. Jim Boylan. Ew.
Just Boylan.
Boylan.
He's not on a first name basis. So, speaking of coaches, Coach of the Year, Jim Boylan. Coach of the Year. And I kind of mentioned this earlier when I was talking about my picks for the East, Brad Stevens. And I do think he'll, as what usually happens for Coach of the Year, it's usually like the players kind of bolster the coach more so than like the coach bolstering the players, depending on the way you look at it. But I feel like usually like the best teams in the league, the coach of those teams usually is Coach of the Year. Last year was Frank Vogel, and they had LeBron and AD ended up winning the title, so it was no surprise that it was Frank Vogel. Once again, I have the Celtics at the 2 seed, so I think it's going to be Brad Stevens. I do think Brad Stevens is a terrific coach ever since he came into the league. So even before the Celtics will be like a top 2 seed in the East. So I think it will be Brad Stevens.
Let me say something. I'm not going to say anything. Enough said. It's Brad Stevens. It's not even close. It's Brad Stevens. Like, there's no one else who's going to make that much of a difference. Like, Steve Kerr, he has Kyrie. He has Kyrie, so that's going to help him a lot. And Brad Stevens is already one of the best coaches to never win Coach of the Year already. So I think he's going to be.
Also, like you said, if, Nick Nurse, I don't think Nick Nurse will win 3 years in a row, especially since I think the Raptors will decline this year.
Yeah, I think the Raptors will decline this year as well. But cut. So we don't have much time, but I want to do the outro, right? Is that okay if we do? I want to do the outro.
Rookie of the Year, because I don't want to. We only have one more, and it's Rookie of the Year. So if we
okay, yeah, sure.
No, and then do the outro.
Sure, real quick.
All right,
go ahead.
Under a curve. So finally, for our last NBA award, the Rookie of the Year. So this is an interesting rookie class, and spoiler alert, it's not LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is not going to win Rookie of the Year, unfortunately. No, I don't think he'll even come close. Unless ESPN just decides to rig this whole thing, it'll be James Wiseman. So why James Wiseman? I think him and Curry will be a lethal duo. I can see them working together in the PNR. I think if James Wiseman developed a jump shot, it'll just make Curry look better. And also, Curry has a history of making his teammates like better on the court statistically. So I think while James Wiseman is really good on his own, being alongside Curry and Draymond and Jelly Oubre, I think it'll just be nothing but good for James Wiseman. So especially since the loss of Clay, I feel like James Wiseman will kind of be asked to take like a bigger role in the offense. So yeah, James Wiseman.
As much as I love that, right? As much as I want that to be true, because I love Weissman. I think he's going to be a more athletic, better 3-point shooting Joel Embiid, and I love Joel Embiid. So, like, imagine how good that is. It's going to be LaMelo Ball. I'm sorry. I don't want it to be. I think he's going to be a bust just like you.
You can ruin my day.
ESPN has posted. I looked this up, right? You can go fact check me because I actually didn't look this up. I'm just guesstimating. But they've posted the NBA ton, right? Also, the NBA itself has posted this a ton. They had rookie highlights, right? This is a fact. They had rookie highlights. They were like, look at all these rookies that broke out this year. You know how Instagram has a limit you to 10 photos / videos? Can you give me a guess, Kevin? How many were LaMelo Ball out of 10?
5.
Good job, Gavin. Good job. 5. 5 of 10 was to a guy who scored 6 points in 4 preseason games. 5 went to a guy who scored 6 points. You want to know how many went to Patrick Williams, who averaged 12 a game? None.
See, what's interesting is that also
ESPN and the NBA. This was from the NBA.
ESPN or NBA,
the NBA
TNT and the NBA all posted videos of LaMelo warming up. LaMelo gets his first point after the second game. Not the first.
That was on his second game. He didn't even score a basket.
LaMelo heating up as he hits another 3 in the third game and the fourth game. So we're just going to post pictures of every time LaMelo Ball put the ball in the basket. And that's nothing to say of his assists. His assists were a different story with ESPN. So I've tried to put LaMelo Ball out of my mind. But, ESPN and those NBA writers, they've rigged it before. So I'm praying that that's nothing.
I don't see a way that LaMelo Ball doesn't win it, because if he keeps doing what he's doing, then he's going to win it because sorry for language, any adult who's listening, but the writers suck the dick of every single big name rookie that comes out. Zion Williamson. What?
The guy with the most hype around, which is why Zion was in the running for it when he played.
LaMelo Ball. Who else?
Zion.
I guess that was about it in the past 2 years, but that is it for the award.
Well, on that lovely note, on Josh's lovely tribute to all New Yorkers, that'll be it. This NBA season.
No, it won't. That's cap.
Great
That's cap.
Oh no! The first teams, no.
Drum roll, please. Thanks for the drum roll. We are going to be also doing the All-NBA first team, the All-NBA defensive first team, and the All-NBA rookie team. Just the first one. We're not going to do the rest. So I'm going to quickly run through mine. But first, I'm going to ask Gavin, because I'm really bad at transitioning, and this is his episode. I'm kind of taking over. Sorry, Gavin.
Yeah, you are. 100%. You're taking over. God,
wow. Okay, I just reminded you.
All-NBA first team. Here we go. Guard number 1. At least the way I did this is the way they usually do it. It's 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. So guard 1, Steph Curry. Why? Because I think he'll be carrying the Warriors. That's why. As well as he will come back. He's super healthy, and I've seen some pictures where he's bulked up a little bit. So we can maybe see him taking it to the rim a little bit more. I don't know. But Steph Curry will have definitely a revival season. He's my first guard. Number 2, we got Jason Tatum as the other guard position. I mentioned this earlier for the East. I think he will really be the commander and one of the top 3 players in the East, and then the commander of the Celtics. So that's why he's there. The forward, the best player in the East and the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. Enough said. Now at the forward, we have Anthony Davis, who, like Josh said earlier, could win the MVP this year. Scarily to say. If he plays enough games and has enough highlights for ESPN's liking, he could very well. But I think he'll be first team again. That center, Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid, will he play much better than he has in the past? No. But will he get the recognition this year? Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you on all points except the last one. Curry, Luka. I have Davis and Giannis. Did you say Tatum at
I
guard?
didn't say Luka. I said Tatum.
Don't you have Luka winning MVP? Oh wait, no, you have Giannis. You have Tatum as a guard?
Yeah.
He plays power forward.
No, he doesn't. He plays
Yes,
small.
he does. Look it up. Look up starting five. He's 5, right? Because they have Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and then him, and then Tristan Thompson. He's a power forward. Bruh. So
Okay. Well, now he's playing 2 guard.
Really?
I don't care.
Okay.
Whatever.
Luka, obviously, I think they're winning MVP. I think he's winning MVP. Steph Curry, obviously, he's probably going to have another MVP-like season. Davis, obvious. Luka, obvious. Giannis, obvious. All those guys are obvious. People might put LeBron in first team over Davis, and they might put Davis at center. Like I said, I just don't think LeBron will play enough to get that. I think he'll be second team forward, and then center I've Embiid because, like I said, he'll get back to that first form, and he's just so much better of a defender than Jokic that he'll get the first team this year, and I think he'll average because when he was nearly an MVP finalist, he averaged like 27 and a half, 13 and 5. And I think he'll average the same, if not slightly better, like a Giannis type season, like a 29, 15, and 6. Yeah. So then we move on to defensive teams. Gavin, who do you have defensively? I think this is another pretty clear one.
Yeah. For the guards, Drew Holiday and Marcus Smart.
Oh,
both
really?
Defenders.
That surprises me.
Will be getting more time at the beginning of the season while Kemba Walker is out. I can assume that he's starting. Maybe at point guard, honestly, depending how Brad Stevens wants to work that out. Forward, Giannis and AD, same as the first team. They're both lockdown defenders. At center, Rudy Gobert, my pick to win Defensive Player of the Year, and he will be the 5th man on the defensive team.
Yeah. I was surprised by you picking Drew Holiday. I was surprised by that.
You think I was going to pick?
Ben Simmons, because that's who I have.
No, I don't know. I think Drew Holiday would be better.
Okay. I just think Ben Simmons will lead the league in steals again. Also, hot take, or not hot take, but sleeper pick for all the guards for a guard for all defensive second team, possibly first team, Chris Dunn. Man was second in the league in steals last year.
He's going to be a 3rd string point guard for the Hawks.
He's going to be second. He will play over Rondo. Please play Chris Dunn over Rondo. I swear to God, if you play Rondo over Chris Dunn, the Atlanta Hawks organization deserves to die if that happens. Like Chris Dunn, I can't believe the Bulls didn't bring him back. That's insane to me. But Simmons, Smart, Davis, Giannis, I think those are all very obvious picks. At least Smart, Davis, and Giannis. Like I think those are locks. And then I have Embiid because, like I said, I think he'll take a huge step, and then I think he'll be the defensive first team, and then Gobert will drop to second team. Then all rookie team, go ahead, sir, man, Gavin.
It's an interesting one, just because there's a lot of people call it like a 3-pick draft, but 2 of those 3 I don't even have on the team. Here we go. Guard Tyrese Maxey from the 76ers. I think he'll actually have a pretty big role this year, especially come playoff time. He's looked great in the preseason so far, and I think originally he was supposed to be like a top 10 pick, but then Kentucky sucked and they never had a tournament. So he fell to 21, which they could always use some more point guard / shooting guard combo scoring. So hey, I think he'll be really good with them. And the other guard, Isaac Okoro, another preseason demon. The question is, where will he play, and how much time will he get over Colin Sexton, type guy. They could stick him at the small forward position, hopefully, which I think is where he fits the best. But I think Isaac Okoro is the best defensive player or perimeter defender in this rookie class. So he'll be the 2 guard. The 2 forwards, we have Denny Avdia, who was my original pick to win Rookie of the Year, but then the Wizards selected him. And then Patrick Williams. I mean, he's looked so good for the Bulls. So hopefully, I'm praying that he's all rookie first team, even though I've seen some people not even having him on like all rookie third teams, which is insane. And then at center,
There's an all rookie third team. I thought it was just first 2.
I've seen some like YouTubers make third teams.
That's weird. Okay, sorry. Continue.
And center, James Wiseman, my rookie of the year. So I think that's a pretty good list.
It's the worst thing I've ever heard. No, I'm joking.
Few rogue guys.
I have LaMelo Ball because spoiler alert, or if Gavin edits the last. I know. Gavin, I don't know what he's gonna edit, but we recorded the awards earlier today. I had a doctor's appointment, so if that goes behind, spoiler alert, I have Ball winning the Rookie of the Year, and if not, then you already know that. But LaMelo Ball, just because all the hype again. Remember, it's the Writers Association that chooses these things. So I think they'll choose him, even though I think he'll average, 3 points a game and like 6 assists and like 10 rebounds or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the weirdest stat line and shoot 25% from the field and be a shitty defender. And they'll be like, yeah, that's all NBA first team. Not all NBA. Sorry.
12 ESPN on NBA or NBA and ESPN Instagram highlights a night.
Oh my god. Then I have a Okoro at 2 guard because what I think they're gonna do is I think they're gonna run Kenny Ojale. I want to say his name is. I think that's wrong, but no, Ojale is on the Celtics.
Yeah, that's
Osman.
Osman.
Who?
C.D. Osman.
Thank you, C.D. Osman. I think they'll run him at the 3. I think they'll run Okoro at the 2 and then move Garland because he doesn't really fit with Sexton too well as like 6th man. And then they'll hope that he thrives there because he was so bad last year. Then I have Vassell at forward spot just because I like him a lot, and I think Patrick Williams will be good. I just don't think he'll get the recognition. Like, he's been really good this preseason, but I've never seen one highlight of him on the NBA Instagram page or ESPN Instagram page, and he's been way better than like half the rookies. Not even half. Like, he's been a top 3, I would say, rookie this preseason. I'd say Okoro, him, and I don't know. Who's the other one? Doesn't matter.
We'll give somebody in there.
Toppin? But I think Toppin will be in there just because he'll be the number 1 scoring option for the Knicks, or Barrett will. What?
Toppin would have been good. I don't know. I think Patrick, I kind of wanted to go out of the box on some of these, as you can see with like the defense and rookies.
Yeah. So I just think Toppin will because, New York, and he's going to be like okay. So anyone okay in New York is going to be goated. Like how RJ Barrett was in the Rookie of the Year conversation for the majority of the year. Then obviously center, I think it's got to be Weissman. I mean, there's no real other center that was drafted that's going to have a starting role, to my knowledge, that I can remember. I mean, like Jalen Smith is the only other big man that was drafted in the first top 10 picks, and he's more forward.
He's going to play power forward with them.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think the next one would be
Sadiq Bey.
Desmond Bane would be the other one. 30th Desmond Bane, 30th pick by the Grizzlies.
Isn't Sadiq Bey a center, or is he a power forward?
No, he's a small forward. He's like a strictly 3-point shooting Patrick Williams, like 6'8", 6'9", small forward.
Huh, I thought he's a power forward. The more you know.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not done.
Okay. Yes, you are.
Okay, fine. I see how it is. I see it's your episode. Fine.
Continue, Joshua.
No, I don't want to anymore. I was just going to talk about Desmond Bane for a sec, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, all right. I guess that'll wrap it up. So, another great episode. Hopefully you guys listened this far. But we are super excited to have the NBA come out tonight. Josh is wearing a Santa hat. He's
Oh yeah.
But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave a like, comment down below your pick,
And
the NBA championship. Thank you guys for watching. I'll let Josh have a few words, and goodbye.
Thank you all for watching. Shout out to Matt Veza, who texted me after our last episode when I said none of you guys watched this point to the 37-minute mark. If you reach it here, comment down below that you reached it here, and I will give you a shout out next time as well. By the personal goat at Sports Broadcasting, Joshua Melvin. Thank you if you've reached this point. We really appreciate you. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.